Good evening, everyone, and happy last day of Hailmas for week 2. I am doing a huge giveaway at the end of the month for Hailmas. I feel like it's the perfect time to do it. It is literally the giving season. All you guys need to do is subscribe to the channel, and I know when you do, it lets me know. Also, to comment and engage with each Hailmas video. Comment anything that you want. I will just be able to know that you are a part of the giveaway just by your comment alone. And I'm gonna pick someone at the end of the month. I'm gonna put a whole playlist together for Hailmas so you guys can keep up. And I know it's gonna take you guys some time to watch because you're busy. So I'm gonna pick the winner probably between December 25th and January 1st. But good luck to everyone. I love you all. And yeah, happy Hailmas. I am literally so proud of myself for completing another week of Hailmas. I'm surprised. I'm surprised with myself. I'm not going to lie. And it's been really a fun journey. And I just decided tonight to keep it chill, to keep it low key. I actually have my tea here, my peppermint tea. If you guys follow me on Instagram, which if you don't, why not? I always give you guys little things that I do in my life. And I drink peppermint tea almost every single evening, and I put a little honey in it, and it's in my Cancer mug, and I figured let's just kind of get the vibes going. I'm a little bit tired, guys. I'm actually a lot bit tired. I'm exhausted, and I figured before I get in the shower and cozy up for bed, why not do an entire video on how to mentally glow up for 2024? I think that what's really beautiful about the self-care niche that I have pretty much been a part of for so many years is that it's not just about the external, but it is also about the internal. And every single year I sit with myself and I say, okay, what life lessons can you kind of put together that can really help somebody out who is starting their glow up journey in some way? And as someone who feels like it literally is a journey that will last a lifetime, I always, and I repeat, always learn something. And I figured, yeah, we love to do external, gorgeous glow ups where we, do our hair and makeup, lose a little bit of weight, take care of our nails and our body and our pH, and we're just smelling and feeling good. But what about our mental health? What about mentally glowing up into the most happiest version of ourselves? I decided to create the ultimate internal glow up that is hard, but very necessary. And if you're starting your journey, whether you're 18, 25, 35, 45, it doesn't matter. It is never too late to start over. It's never too late to just start, period. And I figured I would give you guys some life lessons that I've learned that have helped me in my mental glow up this year. And I wanted to just do things that were specific to this year. So in 2023, these were things that I really poured into, learned, and understood a little bit deeper. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you do, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below. Thank you again so much for supporting every single video of Hailmas thus far. It's been such a beautiful journey, and I'm so appreciative of you guys. And I'm so excited for what 2024 has to bring. All right, let's get into today's topic. Okay, so when I think of a mental glow up, when I think of something that has to do with internally working on ourselves, aside from healing our traumas and working on our actual mental health, I also think that a part of a mental glow up is fixing our perceptions on things and growing and evolving with the times. Also, practicing the art of discernment and really understanding what it means that when you do become more discerning, you don't repeat patterns and you change the way that you move through life. So the very first thing that I want to mention is this. You never want to forget where you came from, but you must understand that you cannot stay there. What I mean by this is I feel like a lot of people are stuck in their glow up journey because although they might be changing their physical, they might be changing their career, they might have started dating different people and have changed their friend circle maybe, they are still kind of in the same environment that made them sick. And I think it's really crucial to our journey to understand what it means to say, you know what, it's time for a change. I'm not really sure about any of your personal lives, of course, but I can always speak from my own. I definitely know that for me, what has been the most growing, evolving journey is my constant relocation of where I want to belong. And when I first moved out of my parents' house, I knew for a fact that I wanted to move out of town. I grew up in the town that my parents lived in and still currently live in. It was not really bringing out the most creative side to me. I wasn't feeling inspired and I was looking for a change. If you feel stuck in your environment, it's probably the environment. And I really also want to say that this particular saying can apply to so many other things than just environmental. Because when you hear the term, don't forget where you came from, but you must know that you can't stay there, some people will think environment, but other people might think friendships, relationships, the way that they used to move through life. It really just depends on who I'm speaking to and who interprets what I say and how I say it. If you're someone who is trying to practice your glow up journey, you're trying to step into this new chapter in your life, and you are dating the same type of people, your friends are not really conducive to your new normal and your new environment that you want to be a part of, your hometown is holding you back, your family is not really being so supportive, it's time for a change. You will not see yourself grow exponentially without changing these circumstances for yourself. It's just kind of impossible. We as humans are emotional beings, and environmental things, whether it's a place, whether it's a person, whether it's a daily routine, if it's making us feel a type of way that is not positive, it must be fixed. When I lived in my previous apartment, when I first moved there, it was so inspiring to me. I loved it. I felt like I was on top of the world. I'm in a luxury building and I'm so happy here. And I was happy there for the majority of the time I was there. But towards the end, prior to buying this house, it started to feel very uninspiring for me being there. I was dumping a lot of money into the rent, which I didn't mind at first because the younger version of me felt like, well, my home is my job. So for me, it's kind of like I'm paying for a home and an office space. So to me, I was able to justify the $5,000 a month in rent. As time went on, I realized that I was not utilizing my second bedroom in that apartment. I was spending a lot of money on rent that could have went to other things. I was just not really happy in that town anymore. Although I really do love that town, it wasn't inspiring me. There wasn't a lot of young people there. And it just felt very And I used to in the past just sit and sulk in my sorrows and in that complete and utter dysfunction, where now I like to just be a little bit more proactive and say, I don't like my environment, let me change it. It's a rental. The lease goes up, you move. Thankfully, I had purchased my home. I have never been happier in this house. It's the weirdest feeling when you realize that the things that you maybe once would have not loved, you love the older you get. I really have been finding such bliss in the simpler things in life. I kind of love that saying of you want a swimming pool your whole life and then you get the swimming pool and you never swim in it. That's kind of how I felt about living the life that I was living previous to now. And right now, it's all about finding an environment that makes me feel good and thriving in it. And that is exactly how I live. So make sure that you guys keep that in mind in your mental glow up journey, that if you are struggling, it could just be where you're at. The next thing that I want to touch on for your mental glow up and how it can really fix your life if you choose to take these steps is understanding that you reap what you sow, but let it be a lesson. I used to feel so embarrassed of the fact that prior to me being a little bit more of a kinder and better person, that there was a flawed version of me many years ago. I was embarrassed to have ever owned the fact that I was once mean, or have ever owned the fact that I maybe lied a few times, or have been a bad girlfriend and fallen short as a daughter. And it used to just really make me feel uncomfortable. And at this juncture in my life, I don't know if it's because I really just don't care anymore, it feels really good to know that everything that I reaped, I really did sow. And my karma that I had to face actually made me better and not bitter. I think a lot of the times we are trying to either escape our karma or we don't want to own the fact that it happened to us and that we made a mistake. I own that there was a version of me maybe that wasn't so great. And in knowing that, I've learned from her. She has taught me so many valuable things. And I think that there's something really beautiful about learning from your previous self and learning from different versions of yourself. The mean side of you, the depressed side of you, the bad friend side of you, the bad girlfriend, the self-servant, the selfish, like, there are so many different sides of us that we have encountered throughout the years. And when you do face your karma, I rather you guys face it head on, attack it, figure it out, and practice better core values and morals and being a better person overall that actually learns from your mistakes. Because the people who always continuously have bad karma after bad karma after bad karma that I've seen are people who choose to be a victim to their karma and not own the accountability that they should in why they got to that place. I think a lot of people love to place blame on other people. They love to blame the guy that they dated 10 years ago for him cheating on them. And that's the reason why my life trickled out the way it did. And I have a horrible broke ass life because this man and this woman and my mom this and my dad this. And it's like, I get it. We all have faced some sort of adversity, but I think the best thing that we can do is take the reins of our own life by facing our karma and healing from it and allowing it to make us better. I no longer view it as an embarrassing story to tell. I'm not someone who struggles to own the fact that there was a time in my life where I wasn't perfect. And for those who are always pointing the finger at everyone else's faults, I tend to notice are the most faulty people out there because a humility practicing person doesn't do that. Someone who is humble and has a great deal of humility would never place so much judgment on every single person. And I am better at identifying where people are either making a genuine mistake or they are continuously living in a victim mindset their entire life, and they rather be a victim to their own misfortune than changing their life and making it better because they like the attention that comes from being a victim. I would rather put onto you guys that it is okay to have been bad at one point, to have fucked up. And yes, you do reap what you sow, and it's something that you have to speak about with God. But I know because of my relationship with God that He has forgiven me. And I forgive myself, more importantly. And I think it's really crucial in your growing journey to be able to own the fact that there was an imperfect version of you, whatever that may have looked like, and you can grow from it and glow from it. Now, when you're stepping into your glow up journey, you have to ignore the think pieces during your glow up, okay? And what I mean by this is, you're gonna always get the most pushback and commentary when you choose to change your life. I find that people get very offended when you don't do life exactly how they do. Even in my previous weight loss videos, which I put them out there to be transparent. I find that transparency is key when you do social media as a career because getting ahead of it is better than just ignoring it, because then it almost seems like you're being sneaky or not addressing something. And my weight loss was so significant, I wanted to address it. I didn't want to just brush it under the rug. And I knew that it was going to be a controversial weight loss story because rather than doing what people tell you to do, which is working out and eating healthy, I chose to fast and I chose to actually really not work out during the fast. And I was getting a lot of think pieces here and there from this person and that person and this person. And granted, the overall commentary under these videos was phenomenal. So I'm not complaining, but I'm using this as an example that there will be like one or two people that will go, that is not how you do X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. It's like, this is my journey. A lot of people will place their own feelings on how they choose to live their life onto you and saying, if you don't do it the way I do, then you're wrong. That is obviously very annoying, which is why I want you guys to break free from the addiction of approval. If you really want to glow up mentally and internally, you must ignore the noise. I talk about this in so many different videos about seeking validation and, getting so much approval and attention from others. I need you to do some sort of internal self-esteem practice and have personal validation during this process of life. And by the way, I'm going to say this because I don't know if I say this enough, but it's easier said than done. I am very much aware how difficult it is to actually validate yourself. I think a lot of people say it and like, do it. Like, you should just be like me and validate yourself and fuck approval. It's hard. It's hard because I think that we as humans were built up to literally be approving, seeking kind of people. Because not only was it, stemming from childhood where our parents say good job and you get a good reaction, and then you do something bad and you get a bad job, and then it kind of translates as you get older to social media and what that has done to people's self-esteem. And I need to post a photo so that I can get the validation and get the likes and get the comments. And it's a very, very, very vicious cycle. In this internal mental glow up, it's all about you, baby. And it is so hard. And this is what I recommend you to do. Get really angry when the think piece, the person, says something, if that's how you feel. Let it out and then try to release it. I used to write paragraphs in defending myself or have arguments back and forth. And now I'm like, I can't change how that person feels. They wrote that very lengthy thing to tell me how I'm doing such a bad job at X, Y, and Z. And I very much like what I'm doing. So I rather not defend what I do. I rather just not engage. And I think it just gets easier with time. That's my best advice. I literally do social media for a living. So when you do what I do for a living, you face commentary a little bit more than the average person. But I have to say that it is more difficult to face with people you know. And as someone who has been criticized from a stranger or from a family member, I have to say, getting the criticism from someone I know, like family or friends, is more hurtful. It's harder. Like I said, having a moment and then releasing the moment, and you will get better at it. And I think also finding different ways to tell people like, hey, I really appreciate like what you said. And I'm talking about people you know, not randoms. I really appreciate like your thought on that, but I'm kind of doing like my own thing right now. Like this is my journey. And I'm not here like for like your thoughts, comments, and concerns at the moment. But if I do like care for your advice in the future, I will absolutely ask and kind of just leave it there. Okay, the next big piece of advice that I have for really achieving the best mental glow up for 2024 is realizing that you cannot be anybody but yourself, and authenticity will always win. So I kind of want to elaborate on this, and I really, really, really learned this the past year. I think a huge chunk of my life has been spent either idolizing or admiring certain people for them having differing personalities and traits than me. I've always gravitated towards people different than me, whether it's someone I date or someone I become friends with or just someone I look up to. And in knowing that, I realized that I would take on different ideas of what I thought a powerful, wise, sexy, intelligent woman would be like based off of the people that I was admiring. And I think that's something that I always fall back into that is the most helpful in my journey and has made me the most money, has made me the most friends and connections, has really helped me in dating, has helped me in business, has helped me with networking, and has helped me find peace, which is the most important thing, has been always going back to my authentic ways. I would always look at like some girls who have like super like nonchalant personalities and like they're really good at being like, yeah, like, and they just don't care. And it's so admirable. I have to say, like, I'm like, damn, I'm a Cancer, okay? I get emotional. I'm a certified lover girl. I'm not good at that. So what I've learned is leaning into self-acceptance and understanding that you can actually create boundaries around your authenticity. So what I mean by this is, in me knowing that I'm a certified lover girl, that I'm not really great at being nonchalant, that I'm very like colorful and loud, and I'm not good at being like subdued and like very like Maddie Perez from Euphoria. Like I'm not like that. I'm a little bit more goofy. Like that's just my personality. I'm more of like a theater kid. I'm not so much of a cheerleader. It's just not me. And I think that in knowing that, I have created boundaries around the things that I know I fall short in when it pertains to my personality and the negative attributes that come with it. I can't change the fact that I love hard. I can't change the fact that I'm an empath. So, what I've done is instead of just allowing anybody and everyone to access that very vulnerable, real side to me, I've created boundaries and restrictions around who gets to see that version of me by simply being more exclusive. And it has helped me still be myself, but just with the right people. So definitely working on your authenticity. A lot of you guys are tapping into your glow up and you're trying so hard to like manufacture like a different version of yourself. And as someone who has like actually attempted to do it, it's not sustainable. You will always fall back into being yourself unless you're like some sort of like narcissist or sociopath and you're really good at like shape shifting. But like, for me, you always end up going back to your original self. And it's just something that's really important. And I also kind of wanted to put like a little sidebar. When you're going through your mental glow up and your internal glow up, you realize that you become more self-aware. And I don't want you to use your self-awareness to project your new findings onto other people. I notice that when people become more self-aware, whether it's spiritually, whether it's personally or financially, they get really upset when everyone else around them isn't on the same type of time as them, because now that they see things more clearly, they're mad that other people don't. And I think it's important that we give people grace and their own time frame in when they need to evolve and grow. And if they choose to never do so, well, then you can kind of audit your circle around that. But I have found that just because I realize certain things doesn't mean I have to push it on my friends or my family. And I used to do that a lot in the past. Like even when I went vegan, I like made everyone in my family go vegan. And listen, I think it was a good reasoning and there was good intent, but it really bothered me if they didn't care about it. And I think now I realize that just because it's your journey, Hailey, doesn't mean it's everybody's journey. This is your journey. Like make it about you in a healthy way. The next thing that I want to talk about is social media. When we're going through our mental glow up, I really want you guys to hone in on the fact that social media is for fun and fun only. And if it's not fun, you need to get off of it because social media actually can ruin your life. And I want you guys to make it a safe space. I don't really know who's watching and what your career path is. I know for me, social media is my job. It being my job means that I actually choose to use it even less if I'm not working. If I'm not working on there, I don't aimlessly scroll because I find that it really doesn't pass time in a good way. I want it to be a safe space for myself, and I will make sure to follow and unfollow as need be. You guys have to really curate your timeline based off of what fuels you, what inspires you. And if you're following people that you don't really like, or that you find boring or uninteresting or ugly or whatever, then that means that you have a lot of work to still do. A mental glow up is realizing that you will do anything and everything to have better mental clarity, clearness, and happiness, and to do anything that will make your mental health better. And for me, social media remaining fun and work is the only way that I will associate with it. If it feels angering, if it feels catty, if it feels lazy, if it feels scary, I will log off. I think it's really important that we all log off, and it's important that we are better offline. I really want you guys to work on in 2024 being better offline. If you are obsessed with the facial filters, guilty. I used to be like so obsessed with filtering my life and my body and my this and that. And I'm really good at editing photos. Like if you guys ever want a photo editing video, let me know because I will show you guys how I do it step by step. But I love it. Like I'm very into cameras and taking photos and aestheticism and things like that. But I think that it's important that instead of us creating a version of ourselves on the internet that we like, I would rather you guys create that version of yourself online. This year was the year of me making myself beautiful in real life. You know, going out and doing things in real life without posting. You know how many times now I go out and I experience things, I do the wildest shit, and I don't even show you guys. I don't post it. I have done a couple things this year that like were kind of amazing that I kept to myself. And it felt kind of great because there is a smidget of validation that you're looking for when you show people how wonderful your life is. And I like to show for inspiration, but if I find that it wouldn't be inspiring, I just don't post it anymore. And that's just the way it goes from now on. And for me, it's a really good balance of having a great offline life and a good online life as well. So that is going to be so good and clearing for your mental and just kind of working on it to be in a better place. This was huge for me this year, guys, for my mental glow up. And honestly, it has been something that I've been doing for like the past 2 years, and it's discipline with men and not giving discounts. Now, what does discipline with men mean? It can mean a lot of things, right? So in my mental glow up and how I really fixed my life was understanding that a man in my life has to serve a purpose that is respectful to my boundaries and how I carry myself. I was always disrespecting myself by going for things that felt beneath the version of myself I was. But I had to get real with myself and say, is it really beneath you if you continuously entertain it? And the truth is this, guys, you will meet a very unattractive man and you will be so like posh and giving him the cold treatment. But the second you meet someone handsome, really good looking, and he's just like so hot, your boundaries tend to drop. You give a little bit of a discount. And it's kind of like something that we tend to do when somebody is more attractive. So discipline with men is realizing that you need to have discipline all around with men. I also don't engage in repetitive, ridiculous conversations that are not going anywhere. I will cut somebody off without over-explaining myself. I will understand when something isn't meant for me that I have to really genuinely move on. If you really want to glow up in life, you got to stop living in a life where you accept poor behavior from people. You cannot be in your divine feminine. You can't be in your high value woman lifestyle if you are still entertaining people who are not good for you. Genuine womanhood and glowing up is knowing when to leave, knowing when you are no longer invited, knowing when the space that they want you to occupy is not a space you fit into. And that is something that I've learned. And in this past year, my discipline with men has strengthened. I also kind of want to touch on sexual discipline as well, because I think this is also important. People always ask me during my abstinence if I am craving or wanting to be intimate with someone. And the answer is, of course. I'm 26, I'm healthy, I'm young, and I would consider myself to be a pretty sexual person, okay? I am a Cancer sun and a Scorpio moon, okay? So I am a very sexual person. And I think that for me, sexual discipline essentially means that it doesn't matter what you are. It's you saying that I'm not entertaining something that isn't good for me, that isn't right for me, that isn't healthy for me. And it's gotten easier with time. I've learned to say no more. I used to always accept every date that I was asked on. I used to always bend my rules for attractive men. And now it's really just about what is giving me the most mental clarity and mental clearness. If I were to hook up with a really hot guy, in the moment it's gonna feel good, but a lifetime of pain, sorrow, I mean, obviously not. I don't regret anything, but I definitely noticed that it's a temporary satisfaction, and I'm no longer really looking for that in this new version of myself. I want long-term gratifying experiences, and if something isn't going to give that, then I don't want it. And that's not to say, ladies, that you need to be in a committed relationship with every man you're intimate with. But what are you gaining from this intimacy? Is this a person who is courting you often, respecting you, doing things for you, making your life simpler? Then I can understand why intimacy could mean something. But if you're being intimate with low vibrational people and you are giving your time to low vibrational people who are offering you nothing but salami dick and a bunch of low budget conversations, you got to really get real and wake up. This is huge. And I learned this year for my mental glow up. And it actually does have to do with mental, and it's cultivating skills. Now, beauty is wonderful. Being smart is wonderful. But having an incredible skill set, I think, almost might top them all. I feel like being someone who is really skilled at things and improves their life skills really is a person who understands that glowing up journey of just becoming like the Martha Stewart of your life. And some skills that I wrote down were cooking, hosting, networking, laundering clothes and linens properly, public speaking. These are all skill sets that you can do. And I would love when I get married, because I think about each era of my life and what I would want to make of that era is I want to step into my hosting era when I'm married. Granted, I kind of already started now. I host my friends every year at my home. I do my birthday, and I usually do 2 other holidays, whether it's Labor Day or Galentine's Day. And I like to host, and I have wanted to improve my skill set in hosting by really understanding and paying attention to detail. I really do find certain people enviable when they can host. I was on TikTok the other day and this girl was posting that she made her own baby shower from scratch, and she showed everything she did, like the tablescape that she created and the flowers she picked and the food she designed. And it really came together in full synchrony. And I'm like, wow, that is a talent. Like, people will just go like and scroll, but do you not know how difficult it is to host, to create a tablescape? Like, if you didn't grow up with like a Martha Stewart parent, it actually is really difficult to develop certain skills like this. Now, I didn't grow up with like a ironing board parent, but I definitely grew up with a cooking parent. So my skill set of choice that I've done for years has always been cooking. I love to cook for people and I like to show love that way. But I do want to step into my hosting era, and I really would love to be able to launder clothes and linens properly. I want to get better with the iron. I want to get better at doing certain things like steaming. And I just get so excited when I see like Lavishly Jackie, like Jackie Ina's page where she steams her bed and things like that. Cause I'm thinking I would have never thought to do that. Like, I don't have people in my actual life who are that meticulous. So that is something that I want to work on. And having a skill set is a mental goal because it requires knowledge, wisdom, and patience and growth to actually be able to cultivate these habits. Okay, this is huge. This is more of like a life lesson and also just something I want you guys to take with you in this new journey for yourself. And it's guilt is a feeling. It is not a fact. Let go of the past. It's the only way that you can truly elevate and step into this next chapter. This is kind of where I touch on mental health significantly in the video. When we are trying to glow up in life, whether it's spiritually, emotionally, physically, stepping into the next chapter mentally, you really have to be able to let go of the wrongdoings. And I kind of touched on this earlier about karma and reaping what you sow and learning from it. I think a great way to let go of that guilt is by letting it live where it once was, which is in the past. Bringing your past into your present will never, ever, ever propel you. You must move on. Whether it's a big or small thing, you really need to move forward in life. And this is something that I learned with time. I've always been someone who would harp on a moment, a thing, whatever I did to someone 15 years ago, I would like sit on it and it would drive me nuts. And I'm like, girl, you need to forgive yourself, because how is this helping you now? Either you're going to keep going down this same old circling of the drain of readdressing this over and over again to really feel not great. It never makes me feel better when I readdress it. Or you can face it and move on from it. It's the only way to get better. Make the rest of your life the best of your life. And I got that from a girl from TikTok who said it, and it stuck with me. And I say it all the time now. You guys really have to encourage a positive future for yourself. And the only way to do so is by stop harping on all of the things you once did. And the last thing that I wrote down actually, and it's so crazy because I did a video with Jazz Turner about like your classy era and things like that. And I kind of wanted to touch on when we're doing our mental and internal glow up to understand that class isn't just about money. And actually, it has very little to do with money. It reminds me of the Luann de Lesseps. It reminds me of Luann's song from Real Housewives of New York. She's like, money can't buy you class. It's true, because it can't. I don't care how much money you have. It doesn't make you classy if you're not classy, period. So some things to work on in this new chapter internally is understanding that respect is important, and you should be respecting the janitor the same way you respect the CEO, the same way you respect your mother, your boyfriend's mother. Like, have some respect, okay? Humbleness/humility I wrote because I feel like humble can be a word that people don't love. They think it's a negative quality. So let's just talk about humility. Practicing a good amount of humility will be great, and just kind of having some sort of ownership and accountability of your life is very classy. What I find to be very unclassy and uncouth is when somebody professes this very posh mindset, but they don't own their wrongs. They are very disrespectful and they don't understand what it means to be self-aware. They don't understand time and place. There are just certain things you don't say at certain times, and it's rude and it's uncouth. I'm always able to tell when somebody kind of is classy and it clearly was passed down generationally, and when somebody like just got their hands on their first $100. Like, it's very obvious to me, and I'm not saying that every person that just started making money yesterday is unclassy and uncouth. I just tend to notice that some people, when they're stepping into this new chapter in their life, they are very unclassy. And it's important that we gracefully step into success. We gracefully step into our wife era, our mom era. I don't like when people make other people feel bad for not having the things that they have, for not doing the things that they do, and for not attaining the lifestyle that they have. First of all, not everybody wants your life. Not everybody wants the same things. And also, no offense, not everybody wants to be you. So in knowing that, you really need to be understanding as to really what is leaving your mouth. The next thing I want to talk about when it pertains to class is selectiveness. You want to become more classy and you want to kind of step into what it means to have class from a mental perspective. And it's being selective with whom you share, personal information with, who you date, who you're friends with, what family members you choose to spend a lot of time with, and what family members you take advice from. Selectiveness, okay? A classy person is usually very untouchable. They are usually very difficult to penetrate. It's important that you don't remain available and accessible to all people. The next thing is uplifting others. I understand that we are in our villain era, we are in our main character energy, but a big part of being a main character is being a kind person and supporting your friends and family. I find that a lot of people tend to get lost in the sauce when it pertains to the main character energy, and they think that being selfish is the only way. And honestly, this isn't new. I really think a lot of people think that things are new and niche to like right now, but if you really think about it, depending on the country you live in and the society and how things kind of operate, I at least notice that a lot of people are very selfish, period, end of story. I don't see a lot of people really stepping out for their friends like they used to and doing extra things for others and really like extending that hand. Granted, I do see it from time to time, not only in my circle, but outside of that. And I see it from time to time, but is it common? I'm not really sure. And I think that it is a lost art. So I think it's important we get back to still putting ourselves first, but making sure that our friends get to be the main character from time to time as well, and our family members. And you can still be a good amount of selfish towards your life and your own goals, but still support others. And that's very classy. And last but not least is emotional maturity. We all need to understand this in this new era. If you want to be the most mentally clear, the most mentally happy, the most mentally sound, emotional maturity is going to get you there. And it's so difficult. And again, like I said earlier, it's easier said than done. But the more you realize that keeping your emotions sacred and to yourself and practicing letting things kind of blow over, sitting in your thoughts, allowing for a moment to kind of come and then go, really allows you to be sound with your responses and also what you give your energy to. I don't think you guys understand that what could be halting your journey at this moment is how much energy you are putting into the emotions towards other things that are not conducive to your new environment. When you start to really pour into yourself from a self-love perspective, you will always prioritize your energy. I was being called incessantly by someone around the clock during a time when I was really busy. And because I have this issue with not being able to not answer the phone, I struggled with that. But I think now I realize, no, if answering the phone is taking away from my energy at the moment, and this person I know is going to blab my ear off and be very self-servant in this phone call and not really care about my personal well-being, I really would just rather not engage in the conversation right now. Sometimes self-preservation is the only option. And I really want you guys to practice that in the new year. I hope that this video did you well, and I might do a part 2, but I love you guys so much. Happy Friday, and have the best year ever. Seriously, mentally glowing up will help with all of your glow ups, and you will see such exceptional results. I hope this video helped, and I will see you guys on Monday. Bye, everyone. Mwah.